Hey guys, welcome back to the Art of Server. So if you're new to this channel and you don't know what's going on here, basically this is my HP Z820, and in the last video I was attempting to modify this so that I could fit an Icy Dock drive enclosure in this 5¼ inch drive base. And if you didn't see my unboxing, I'll leave a link to that video up in the corner for you. But basically, when I unboxed the Icy Dock unit, I found out that you can't really install it in these 5¼ inch drive bays that have a little tab that hold up any of the 5¼ inch devices. And so I attempted to modify this case in the last video and cut off these tabs, which I did successfully cut them off, but I generated a whole bunch of metal dust. And I was taking the lazy man approach in doing this because I didn't really want to take this whole machine apart. And so I masked it off thinking that I might be able to kind of take a shortcut and prevent the metal dust from getting into the motherboard area. But unfortunately that was not successful. So here I am. In today's video we're going to basically take the HP Z820 completely apart. I'm going to remove every component I can and clean it all out basically. And there's some finishing that I want to do because some of the metal tabs still kind of snag a little bit. I want to kind of smooth that out a little bit, and so I'm also going to do that. I don't know if I'll get to that in this video, but the first thing is to get the motherboard and all of the power supply and kind of open this up. I think there's probably quite a bit of metallic dust that went back in here because there are some holes over here, so I think some stuff might have fallen down. And definitely I know there's a bunch of metal dust on the bottom of the case. And so anyway, I just want to remove all the components and use an air gun to just kind of clean all the metallic dust off of all the components, because in that last video I think I already showed you there's some metal dust on this DIMM module here, and so I just don't feel safe powering this system on with all that metallic dust that might cause some unintentional conductivity. So anyway, today's video we're basically just taking apart the Z820 and remove everything and cleaning everything. So all right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over to the overhead cam, and we'll just start taking this thing apart. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is take the power supply out. Hopefully, I don't think anything is in there because I had the machine upright, so hopefully gravity helped me out a little bit. And most of the dust is towards the bottom here. All right, so also I'm going to remove, let's see if you guys can see this. I'll move this into the camera here. But basically, I'm going to take these trays out because I do think that there's probably some metallic dust that fell in here because there's some down here. All right, so let's just go ahead and take these trays out. Now, just looking in here, oh yeah, I think there is. There's some, let's see here. I don't know if that's just regular dust or some of that metal dust. But either way, yeah, that looks like maybe just regular dust. So I guess I have an opportunity to clean this up. Definitely want some cobwebs in here. Definitely want to make sure, I'm going to use the air gun to blow out any potential metallic dust that's in the SAS connectors or something like that. Looks like there's a spider in there or something. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to have to remove this fan enclosure thing because that helps to hold the motherboard in place, at least in the Z800. That's the way that was designed. I've actually never removed the motherboard of a Z820 before, so I know it's very similar to the Z800, but I think they made some changes. So I'm going to disconnect the, let's see if I can bring the camera a little bit over here. Yeah, let me move that over there a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect the fans right here. These are the two fan connectors for the fans that blow air over the PCI slots. These are strangely stubborn. Let me try this one first. Okay, those are strangely stubborn. I'm going to get a little flathead screwdriver to help me out here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there we go. I think these haven't been removed in a long time or something, because I don't remember these being this tight. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So with those disconnected, I think basically I can just press down on these little green spots here, and there's like little tabs in here that should allow me to. All right, can this help me a little bit? Okay. That one's loose. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, so this should just come right out. There we go. And let's see, I've got a couple of power connectors there. There's a bunch of cables that are coming through this slot here. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of metal shavings right over there. So that's kind of part of my concern. Let's see. Well, let me start with the easy stuff. Let's get some of these PCI cards out of here. I'm just going to get these covers out too, just because I find they often just fall off and fall on the motherboard when I'm not being careful. Oops. So just get those out of the way. There is some sort of power connector right over here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay. And then there are power connectors here too, so let's see if I can get these off. Okay. I don't remember the Z800 having power connector shears. I think they were in the middle of the motherboard with a long cable going up the center before. So this is a slightly different design, because the way the Z800 was, once you remove that fan bracket, there was a lot of clearance here for you to slide the motherboard over. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just snake these cables over here, keep them out of the way. And I've got the cables to the backplane over here, so I'm just going to disconnect all those. And snake those over here, keep them out of the way. And there's a bunch of cables that are zip tied here. Now, I don't know if I want to cut the zip tie, but let me just disconnect them first. So it looks like these are like USB and possibly audio or something. I'm not sure what those are. All right, so at least these are all disconnected now, all the cables on the bottom, and they look pretty unique and color coded, so I shouldn't have a problem putting them back in, or otherwise I can just watch this video again. I think I'm going to keep the CPU heat sinks on because I don't think they're connected to anything, and in fact I'm going to use them as a means to hold the motherboard. So, all right, let's go to the top side here. There are two connectors over here, one right there, but that's going to the CPU cooler, so I don't think I need to remove that. But there is one over here that goes to the rear fans, and I don't want to just pull on that because I have concerns that I might hit the DIMM module and damage that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the DIMM first. Get that out of the way. All right, so now I'll tug on this connector and see if I can get it off. Okay, so that was fairly straightforward. I don't think I need to remove the rear fans in order to get the motherboard out. I just wanted to disconnect that. So let's see, is there anything else? Oh, well, this is the pump connector for the CPU cooler, and there's one more power connector up here. So let me unplug that, and I'll tuck that up here and out of the way. There's also this bracket right here, and I think this is just like a guiding mechanism for the fan shroud to come down on. So, and I think it guides the electrical connector into that socket right down there. So, and that's going to be in the way of getting the motherboards out. So let me just pull on this, I think, and I can slide this up. Okay, so let's see. I think that's everything. And so I think I should be able to slide the motherboard slightly, because I believe the way, at least on the Z800, the way this works is that there are guiding pins under this motherboard that basically connected to the the motherboard tray. And so if I move it this way, it should unlock it. Let's see if all right, so there we go. And I should be able to lift it up, although looks like these cables over here might not give me enough room to remove the motherboard. So yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to cut these zip ties in order to get these cables out of the way. All right, let me go get my cutters. All right, so let's cut these zip ties. All right, so let me get all these cables out of the way, and I'll just kind of fold them into the drive bay area here. So hopefully that gives me a little bit more room. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And at this point, let's see if I can lift the motherboard. So it's it's disconnected from the tray. It's just, all right, here we go. It's just a lot of cables to maneuver around. Oh man, I think, all right, I gotta get these zip ties out of the way. They're just getting in the way, I think. All right, let me lower this motherboard just a little bit. All right, let's try this again. All right, I think I got it. It's a very tight fit. So, all right, let me just Going back down. Let's see here. I'm not sure. There's a lip right over here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, let me see if I can just place this down a little bit. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me just move the camera a little bit here. Okay, so there's a little lip right here, and the motherboard's getting caught on that, so I'm not really sure how to maneuver the motherboard out of this right now. All right, first of all, I think I need to just route these cables through here so that they are just completely out of the way, because it's very hard to it's difficult to get the motherboard past that. But once I get the motherboard up to here, it's caught on the lip, so I almost feel like I have to angle it this way. And you know, this connector has been getting in my way too, so let me tuck that out of the way. Hopefully I don't forget about it later. And this one as well, so let me see if I can maybe just tuck that under there. Just kind of hold the cables out of the way for me. Maybe over here. Yeah, okay. Let's see if that helps me a little bit. All right, let's try this all over again. All right, let's give it a go. Okay, so, all right, so I'm angling it. I don't even know how to describe this angle, but that helped. Okay, so I'm kind of angling it this way a little bit. So this way and this way, and that helped me get it out. All right, let me go put this down. All right, so that got the motherboard out, and yeah, I can see all sorts of metallic dust right down there. So as I feared, the metallic dust was getting through these holes here. So when this was, oh yeah, there's some metal there. All right, so I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just vacuum. Yeah, vacuum as much of the metal that I see. And I think, yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know that I have to remove all the wire harnesses, but I think if I can vacuum this up, but I do want to smooth that out. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more metal cutting. So it's going to generate a little bit more dust, and I have to be careful to get all that out once I'm done. But I think it's going to be okay. There's just, yeah, there's metal dust like right there. If you guys can see that. Yeah, you see all that? So I got to get all that out. All right, well, that was not the most graceful motherboard removal, but hopefully that gives you guys an idea if you ever have to remove a Z820 motherboard. I'm going to go get the vacuum cleaner and just clean all this out. All right, guys, so I think I got the case mostly cleaned out for now. I still need to modify it, but I'm just going to clean off all these parts where I've apparently accumulated some metallic dust. So I just want to blow all that out. And this part. All right, so I think there's some metallic dust somewhere in this area, definitely on that DIMM module. So I'm just going to try to blow all this out. I'm particularly concerned about this area where there was quite a bit of the metallic dust. So I don't want it to short out any DIMMs. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So that's it for cleaning the motherboard at least. So next thing is I want to get back to finishing off the chassis with those tabs that are a little bit rough cut. So I want to smooth that out. Not really sure how I'm going to do that just yet. Obviously that's going to generate some more dust, and I have to clean the chassis after that. But anyway, I think the motherboard's good, so I'm going to put this in a safe and clean place. All right, guys, so after some significant time with the grinding wheel there, this is the final result. So I've been able to smooth out all the gouges and stuff like that from the oscillating tool blade. So I think it's better. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's definitely like smoother, and there are no like jagged edges or anything like that. Same thing on this side here. This side turned out, I think, a little bit better than that side, and I think mainly because I was kind of getting the hang of cutting with the oscillating blade and just being more efficient at it, and just basically overall better at doing that stuff. So this side didn't come out as bad as the other side, but either way I still had to grind down some of these edges and stuff like that, and so now they're perfectly smooth. And I've also spent a lot of time with the air gun and vacuum to just get as much of the dust from all that cutting and grinding out of there. So I think I'm at this point comfortable enough to put back the motherboard and power it on. So I think it's clean enough. There's really not that much metallic dust left in there. I'm sure there's probably a little bit somewhere in some nook that I couldn't get into, but anyway, just wanted to share with you guys the final result there. It doesn't look great on the inside, but that is the inside after all, so hopefully once the Icy Dock is installed, nobody's really gonna notice any difference. So, all right. So anyway, just wanted to show that, and got to put the motherboard and everything back in now. Okay, so I've got everything cleaned out. There's still like little specks of metallic dust in here, but for the most part, it's clean now. And well, it's still dusty. I can't seem to get rid of all the dust. Okay, well, anyway, hopefully that gets all of it. All right, so I think we're ready to put the motherboard back in. I've shoved all the cables aside to keep them out of the way. So I've taken all the cables over here and just kind of put them through to the drive bays here. So just kind of keep them out of the way. Same thing with the cable over here and over here. So hopefully that gives me easy access to get the motherboard back in. And remember, we kind of have to angle it in order to clear this lip and over here. So we have to angle it kind of going down this way first. This corner has to go down first, and then hopefully the rest will get in fairly easily. So let me go grab the motherboard. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna angle this side in first. Okay, that strategy seems to have mostly worked. All right, this cable came loose, but I can put that back here. Okay, and I think I heard all the pins basically go in, so I think at this point I should just be able to push the motherboard. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys probably can't see it, but I'm looking at the rear I/O ports, and they're not perfectly aligned. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so I kind of had to push down on this side over here to kind of get the I/O ports in there, but I think that's in. So at this point, we just have to connect all the cables back. So let's just start with this guy right here. And this one goes over here behind the DIMM module. That one's really, this one's kind of hard to reach. Manage it. I know, you guys probably, all you see is my hand. Sorry. But, all right. So that's in. And there's that DIMM module that we took out earlier, so we'll have to remember to put that in later. Okay, I think it's time to get some of these cables back. Well, actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me get these power connectors plugged in first. So can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. Looking through the camera to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, this is a tight fit here. Okay. This connector has this black bracket around it that kind of gives you a little bit more leverage, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so that's snapped in. And then there's this other one here. So hopefully you guys can see that right there. Like that. Okay, just gonna, there we go. All right, and up here in the upper right corner, don't want to forget that one. Okay, so those are, I think, all the power plugs, and I can move, these are the PCIe power for the GPU and stuff, so just kind of leave that laying there for a second. And let's get this bundle of joy here. Okie dokie. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to zip tie this later on. Let's do the SAS cables first. So I got 0, 1, yeah, that's 3. So this must be 2. All right. So 1 goes in the, or the 0 actually goes in the first. Then 1, yep, this is number 1 here. Goes in the second. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And 2 goes in the third. And 3 goes in the fourth. Okay. And now we have, let's see here. There's a USB. Whole bunch of other cables here. Okay. I believe this white one goes right there, and then this black one goes right there. Then I have what looks like the USB 3. Then the orange. Okay. And then this looks like some sort of USB, other USB. Now I'm not really sure why this one is so long. Does it, oh, maybe because it belongs over here at the very end. I hope I'm right about that. I guess I'll look back at the footage later, but I think that's correct, at least the length. Now I'm gonna have to zip tie this down again, but that's okay, we'll take care of that later. Okay, and so now I need to get the PCIe fan shroud installed, so let me go grab that. All right, so here it is. All right, and then I just need to plug in the fan connectors here. There's one, and then there's 2. All right, and then these GPU power things have a little stowaway place right here, which I will utilize to put those away. I got to put the drive bay trays. So I think you guys saw me clean all these, so they're all very clean now. There was some of that metallic dust on them, so I don't want that floating around inside the chassis. All right, let me put the PCI cards. Oops, almost forgot. Got to put this DIMM module back in, the one I took out. All right, so let's see. All right, I think that's it. Let me just press it in. All right, and the blank fillers, let me go get those. And we'll put the graphics card back in. All right, so that's good to go. Oh yeah, then there's this bracket that goes right over there. Let's see here, I think it's kind of like this. Yep, all right, that's snapped right in, great. Okie dokie, and I think all that's left is, let me move the camera so you guys can see, is the power supply. I think once I put that in, we've basically got everything back together. A lot easier going back in than I think it was taking stuff out, especially that motherboard. All right, let me go get the power supply. All right. Okay. So that's plugged in. All right, so we are pretty much back to where we started, and we've got the three 5 1/4 inch drive bays modified now, so we can accept the Icy Dock unit. So let me actually go grab one and let's see how that fits. All right guys, so here's that Icy Dock unit that I unboxed a while back. So I'm just gonna test fit it and slide it in and see how it's going to work. Now, one thing I noticed straight off the bat is that it's only got holes for the lower slot here, and these have those pins that engage whatever device is in here. So it doesn't have the holes for the 2 upper slots, so this is not going to lock on correctly. So I might have to drill some holes in here, but let's just try to test fit this first. Oh wow, okay. Is this even going to work? Let's see, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me move this a little bit. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the Icy Dock unit is right up against the DIMM slots right there. So it is literally touching the DIMM slots. So I don't know if that's all the way in at this point. Yeah, I'm not really sure this is gonna fit. Yeah, guys, I don't know if this is actually gonna fit at all. I mean, all that effort, maybe. I mean, once this is in, you're not gonna be able to take out the DIMMs. So every time you wanna, if you ever need to remove those DIMMs, you're gonna have to slide this out. Now, the other thing that I'm concerned about is whether the fan module is going to fit over this. So definitely, you guys can't see it, but the holes, the screw holes down here do line up with the pins. Mostly, I think. I mean, I can't really tell because all the pins are not going down, because there's the holes for these 2 slots are here. Let's hold on a second. Let me zoom back out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this unit has holes. Remember, this little latching mechanism has pins here, here, and here for each of the 5 1/4 inch bays. This only has the holes, the corresponding holes for the bottom one. It does not have it for the middle one and the top one. And so this is not locking in at the moment. Now I can remedy that by drilling the appropriate holes for that. And I'm just trying to see if it even lines up correctly at this point. And I think it kind of does, but this is a really, really tight fit. So the other concern I have is the fan shroud that goes over all this. So I don't know if there's enough clearance here for that unit to go down. We're going to have to check that out. Let me go grab that. Okay, so here is that fan shroud. and just trying to test fit it. Okay, you know, it might work. And so long as this will fit, I think it might work. All right, so I'm obviously going to have to do a little bit more modification. I got to drill the holes into the Icy Dock for that to fit in here. And I think I'm going to have to do that in the next video because this is already long enough. But I think we're making progress. I didn't realize this is going to be a 3-part video here, but we're making progress. We've got the case modified, and the fan shroud does seem to fit. So let's see. Yeah, that will fit. Okay. And I just have to figure out power, and the SATA ports are up here. Let's see here. Let me put this back down. Okay, so there's an opening right over here, down here. Let's see if you guys can see that. Okay, all right, so there is an opening over here to allow the SATA data cables to come out from the Icy Dock, and the plan is to plug them to the onboard LSI SAS controller, which are the ports down here. If you guys can, yeah, so you can see that down here. Now I know there are 5 bays in here, right? And so what do you do with the 5th bay? Well, my plan is to plug that into one of the onboard SATA ports. I do think this is going to work. So let's say in the next video we're going to modify the Icy Dock to fit in this. Yeah, basically we just have to drill some holes and see if that fits, and then we'll wire everything up and see if we can get everything to work. All right guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're new to this channel and you like this sort of stuff, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next videos. Also, if you want to support my channel, go check out my eBay store. I'll leave a link down in the video description. I've got the best selection of pre-flashed IT mode HPA SAS controllers for your ZFS, TrueNAS, or Unraid builds. So go check out the link down in the video description. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned to the next video when we finally get that Icy Dock working in this Z820. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.